Ladies and gentlemen, please have your seats. We are about to start the session. Please have your seats.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see everybody is very awake, despite or thanks to the wonderful reception we had yesterday at the Vasa Museum. We only have 45 minutes for this session, so my main job today is to be a very, very strict timekeeper, so please help with that. The candidates are ready. This is, of course, the favorite part of any politician is running for elections. I think that they're all very, very prepped to stick very strictly to the time so that you will all have a good choice. There's microphones at the two ends, so for the sake of time, those people who do want to ask questions of the candidates, go ahead and line up behind the microphones after they have spoken. But without further ado, can I ask the two candidates for treasurer to come forward, please? Let's give them a warm welcome. And I think we'll go straight into it. David.
Delegates and Liberal friends, it has been an honour to serve you as your treasurer on the ALDE Bureau for the past 2 years. It is fantastic to see how relevant and important the ALDE party continues to be when you see the quality of the candidates this morning who want to represent you, our member parties on the Bureau. The next 12 months will be critically important for the ALDE party as we face into the European Parliament elections, but also for the parties who are building towards national elections in your countries. As party treasurer, and with my own experience with my own home party, I understand the importance of campaigning at every level and making sure that the ALDE party works for you to support you, our member parties. As you will have seen at Council yesterday, over the past 2 years, we have increased our spend on party political projects year on year. I want to continue to build on this and would encourage you to contact me about any projects you will be considering. In terms of campaigning for the European elections, we have set out an ambitious budget of 1.4 million in 2023 and plan to increase that further in 2024. That will incorporate research support for our parties and provide staffing support for your local campaigns. We want to support each of our member parties in the European elections to protect, retain and win extra seats in each of your areas. This ambition over the next 12 months to build on our campaigning capacity is not possible unless we have strong, stable finances. If re-elected as party treasurer, I will ensure that the party finances will continue to have a strong and stable balance sheet and that all expenditures are managed on a daily basis. As a chartered accountant who worked with KPMG and PwC and as finance director for my own party for 14 years, I understand the importance of strong governance in the area of political party financing. And working with the Secretariat, I want to assure you I will continue to build on these structures. On a weekly basis, and sometimes on a daily basis, I provide strong oversight on the finance function of the Secretariat by reviewing our monthly management accounts and daily payment runs. This can be time-consuming work, but is vital work in terms of the party's governance structures. In addition, I wish to thank all the members of the Financial Advisory Committee for their invaluable expertise and who have worked with me over the past 2 years to provide an additional forum to examine the party's finances outside of the party bureau and ensure we have the greatest level of transparency around the party's finances. As with any organisation, we will continue to have challenges in the coming year, and none more so in the area of the authorities and the European Council's aggressive position on the attempts to divide our European family between those within and outside the EU through the party's finances. I want to assure you, and I know my fellow colleagues in the Bureau share my position, we will advocate strongly to ensure those parties outside of the EU boundaries will remain central in the decision-making of our party. Indeed, the authorities' line of thinking goes against the very raison d'etre of the European Union, which was founded on the basis of peace and security on our entire continent and reaching out to others. Delegates, I wish to thank you for your time this morning, and I sincerely ask you and your delegations to re-elect me as your party treasurer. Give me a strong mandate to continue to serve you in making the ALDE party's finances work for you and your parties. Delegates, let us build on the progress which has been put in place over the past 2 years in the areas of governance, transparency and financial stability. Over the next year, we can grow our party and progress our liberal values across Europe. Our finances will be key to that. Let's continue to do this together. Thank you.
Good morning, dear delegates. Good morning, Liberal friends. I'm standing here in front of you as a former State Secretary of the Federal State of Belgium to become the treasurer of ALDE. I have an economic background, and I really believe that I can contribute to promoting liberalism in Europe. And that's why I want to be part of the ALDE Bureau in order to be able to do this. I see the role as a treasurer more than an accountant, more than someone who just checks that everything is okay. This is, of course, extremely important, and this has been done very well in the past. But I think the role of of treasurer is also a very political one. We have to weigh on the discussions, we have to be part of the discussions that are ongoing, especially when looking at this financial regulation that is currently being discussed in the European institutions. I believe we do not just have to undergo what is currently on the table, but that we have to weigh on the table and that we have to make sure, as we have heard yesterday from the members, that the requirements we want to have for a political party in Europe, that they are heard and that we can make sure that also non-members can be full part of our organization. I think the budget of an organization is a clear reflection of the strategy we want to follow. It's more than numbers, it really gives a reflection of what we do in the coming years. And therefore I think it is important to do multi-annual budgeting, to make clear to our members how the budget is evolving and which choices are made. For example, we've seen yesterday all the forecasts for next year, but it's very important to see that why do we take certain decisions? Is it just because we see now that the budget is reduced that we cut everywhere a little bit? Or do we make sound financial decisions in the longer term? Do we want to spend more on political projects? How do we want to support in the future our member parties? How do we want to evolve the travel budget? All of this, it's important that the budget is a political reflection. The whole discussion on non-member states is, I think, the #1 priority, the whole financial regulation, #1 priority for the coming years. But of course, the elections that are upcoming, we need to make sure that every euro is well spent. As a state secretary for the budget in Belgium, I introduced the idea of spending reviews. And we really looked at certain policy areas and checked whether the money spent was well spent and whether we should not, maybe with the same amount of money, be able to do more. I think also in an organization as ours, it's important to constantly question the money, the resources, where they come from and where they go to, and whether we can do a better job. So that's, I think, also something I would really want to do, make sure that we check how the money is spent and that we also are very transparent to our members during the council, but also in many occasions during the year, that we do sound financial reporting to our members throughout the year and involve them as well. On corporate financing, I would just like to say, for me as a Belgian, it is a strange concept, but for me as a liberal, of course, this should be possible, but in very clear set rules. So in close cooperation with the Financial Advisory Committee, we have to look into this in order to ensure that in the future our finances are sound. So that's, in a nutshell, some of the ideas I have, but I have many more ideas. I'm happy to discuss them with you, and I really want to contribute to the future of ALDE and also, of course, to the support of all the members of ALDE. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have time for a very limited number of questions. If you have a question, please go to one of the microphones at the side. Do I see someone coming up? D66, yes, please, you have the floor.
Yes, good morning, good morning. I would like to ask a question about corporate sponsorship, because it is, of course, sponsorship is we need it in the current constellation of financing of parties, but it's also, if you look at the political context of our sponsors and what we are discussing in terms of regulation, it gives us a bit of a political squeeze. So I'm really wondering what your visions are on this corporate sponsorship.
David, do you want to go first?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Obviously, corporate sponsorship and the receipt of it by any political party is a challenge. Being careful who you take it from, and as you said, the political context is very important. The corporate sponsors we currently go through a pretty strict review process. The treasurers, our financial advisory committee and bureaus sign off on all monies we take from corporate donors. And it isn't simply just a case we accept anything given to us. There's very careful consideration, and we do turn it down. I suppose the challenge is, under the European authority rules, we are required on a ratio of 1 to 10 to raise our own resources. That is made up by our membership and our corporate sponsorship. And I think it's probably something that our members, I don't think we have an appetite here to increase our membership, so we do have to have a degree of corporate sponsorship going forward. There is a proposal by the authorities to change that ratio from 10 to 5%, which is moving from a 10 to 1 ratio to 1 to 20, which is obviously a very positive development. What I don't like in that context is, going back to the EU, non-EU, is that this is used as some type of carrot, as that we would accept a non-EU. So whilst you would accept, and that will help us reduce the burden of corporate sponsorship, right to possibly eliminating, and that's part of the discussions and recast regulations. But for me, I certainly don't accept the very theme, and I think Eva would share this position as well. We cannot have a situation as a dilution of using the finances to dilute the non-EU, but hopefully we can win the battle on the non-EU and reduce that ratio, which will allow us reduce our corporate sponsorship. So I hope that answers your question.
Eva, I'm going to give you a chance to answer the question as well.
Yes, I think I already highlighted a little bit my views on corporate sponsorship in my introduction, but as I said, I think it is okay, it can be perfectly okay, but we need a clear set of rules, and we need to agree upon ourselves, but also, of course, with the European authorities, what these rules are. And then I think we need a clear monitoring, because the situation changes over time. So we need to discuss this with members. There needs to be maybe the possibility to really reject it by 1 or 2 members if for a certain reason this is not acceptable. Also, the regulations that are currently discussed, this changes over time as well. So I am in favor of corporate sponsorship. I think we need it. We are not willing to increase the fees. Maybe for some bigger parties this could be an option, but for many small parties that are grassroots parties, we need to keep the membership low, and we need to be able to support our members, and we need finance for this. So yes, I am in favor of corporate sponsoring, but under very, very strict conditions and with a clear monitoring.
Thank you very much. I'm going to just take one more question to the Treasury candidates, because then we're going to go straight into the Vice Presidency candidates. Yes, please.
Thank you. Mark Valladaris, Liberal Democrats, United Kingdom. What role do the 2 Treasurer candidates see for the Financial Advisory Committee going forward, and do you see scope for an expansion of their remit?
Let's start with Eva first.
Well, as I said, the Financial Advisory Committee is definitely a body that we need to incorporate a lot in our decision-making. It's, of course, an advisory committee, but in order to be extremely transparent to our members, I think it's important that we first of all, listen to the people, our members in the advisory committee, and then afterwards involve them also when changes in our decisions are made. I already explained that for me the budget is a political instrument. It demonstrates clearly which way we want to go, and this is not just about the finance. If we make certain decisions, they have a financial implication, and they have a long-term financial implication, and therefore we need, of course, advice of people with the experience of our members, but I think the advisory committee is a body with which I will be in constant contact, because of course we need the full insight and we need the different perspectives of different members, and I would be absolutely in favor of a very good cooperation. I'm very flexible in time, in location, so this is definitely on the radar that we have to put the utmost importance to the Financial Advisory Committee.
David, can I get a very short reaction from you?
Yeah, look, the Financial Advisory Committee is at the moment an advisory committee. I think we're very fortunate that we have people of massive political experience, but also financial experience, and having that balance in there. They provide very invaluable call to tenders, those big expenditures, and that transparency piece. We meet regularly and go through the budgets, and as you probably saw with Council yesterday, provides that space for debate in the finances. Look, put simply, Mark, I think where it's working really well. Possibly if we could meet more often, because it can provide more and more discussion. I think you can always possibly even leverage our Financial Advisory Committee members even more, possibly in the area of other areas of the finances.
Right. Thank you very much to both candidates. If there's any more questions, the voting does not close until Sunday at 10:30, so I'm sure they would be very happy to answer all your questions throughout the day, throughout tomorrow morning, over coffees and drinks, everything else. So thank you to Eva and David. Good luck to you both.
Thank you so much.
Could I ask the candidates for the Bureau for the Vice Presidency to come forward? Let's give them a round of applause. Some of you might want to get some fresh water. There you go. And because we are running into the time already, Malik, you have the floor first.
Well, good morning, dear Liberal fans. My name is Malik Azmani. I'm Liberal, I'm Dutch, and I'm European, so I'm ALDE. And with this motto, I'm proud to stand in front of you and today to present myself as a candidate for the presidency of the ALDE Bureau. I'm born by a Dutch Frisian mother and a Moroccan father. And I'm taught by values like diversity, tolerance, but also learn the power of individual freedom. It's with the liberal values, I would not have stand here today in front of you. Dus I thank the generations before me who fought for liberalism in Europe and in the world, but also especially, of course, in the Netherlands. That's the reason why I'm standing over here, and I feel obliged also to spread those creative societies so that everyone can live their best lives. I'm an optimist, dear friends. Dus that means that I believe that the best will be soon to us. And it means also that with that energy, I want to participate in the ALDE Bureau. I have 3 priorities to achieve. First of all, I want to strengthen our liberal family, that we are as liberals, as united, and that we are strong as a political family if you are an EU member state or a non-EU member state. Secondly, I want to strengthen, especially in the role also as the first vice president of the Renew Europe group, between the group in the parliament and our ALDE party family, so that our shared priorities is translated in real political actions. And third, I want to strengthen also the relationship between the ALDE family and its members' partners, so that we learn from the success stories from each other, so that we can be united, strong, and across Europe strengthen liberalism. Dear friends, I want to help to win the elections next year for the Liberals. That is the reason why I want to participate. Because our generation has the obligation to pass the liberal torch through the young generations and the new generations to come. Dus that is the reason why I, Malik Azmani, liberal, dedicated and energetic, I'm ALDE, I'm just like you, and humble as I am, I want to ask you for your support. Thank you very much.
I support Malik Azmani. He is liberal, he is dedicated, he is European. And like you, he is also ALDE. So, my full support.
I'm Didier Reinders, and I support personally Malik Azmani as candidate for the position of Vice President of the ALDE party. Vote Azmani, liberal, dedicated, European. He is ALDE, just like you.
I'm Guy Verhofstadt, and I'm voting for Malik Azmani as Vice President of ALDE, because he's liberal, dedicated, and European. So all good reason to vote for him.
Hello, my name is Nicola Beer, and for me it's totally clear I support Malik Azmani. He is not only dedicated, but he is a true... just like you.
I know Malik and I trust him. He is Dutch, he is European, he is of course Moroccan. I am supporting him and wishing him good success, because I am sure he will make the liberals of Europe win the...
I'm afraid we're out of time, and it's perfectly timed. Wonderful. That's
Thank you
really
very
great.
much.
Thank you. Then I go straight to the next candidate, and that would be Dan. Do we start with you or the video?
The video is...
Video, please.
Europe made me what I am today. And it's time I gave back. I was born in communist Romania, and I was old enough to understand the struggle for freedom in 1989. Thousands died so we can enjoy the freedom and our European family. Today, more than ever, our fight is to defend what we have and to do our best to ensure a liberal future for Europe. I'm Dan Barna, and I'm running for ALDE Vice President. Having run one of Eastern Europe's most successful new political parties, I do want to help develop our European liberal family. The EU and its neighboring countries deserve our core values as basis for fair development. Let's scale our liberal success stories together.
Good morning, Stockholm. Good morning, ALDE. Together is a really powerful word. You see there 30 of my USR colleagues. Together with them and others back home, we transform a public movement in a very successful and credible political party in only a few years. In 2018, together, we succeeded to get together more than 1 million Romanian citizens who signed a petition for decency in politics to put out of public service the convicted ones. In 2019, together, we became member of ALDE family. And in 2021, together, we were part of the government where we succeeded to prove that the liberals' way are the solution for development in Romania and in Europe. I'm a lawyer with civil society and the European Finance Project experience, who entered in 2016 only for 6 months in the government just to help that technocrat government to reach the elections. After 7 years, I'm here in front of all of you, asking your support and also expressing my belief. Together, Together, we can face the populism and extremism. Together, we can make our liberal voice more stronger and more credible in Europe. Running our party for almost 5 years, my colleagues are saying that I'm quite good in egos management. And having this large family, you know what does it mean. And also, I think I'm decently good in getting things done. Because being former entrepreneur, I'm that kind of doer and pragmatic politician. And what I do believe is that together we can win elections. Success, ALDE. For your support and for your vote.
Thank you, Dan. And then to move straight on, we come to Jaroslav. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming. I'm really happy and really honored to be here and to speak to you as a candidate for a vice president of ALDE. I'm really proud member of ANO movement. I'm really proud that we are a member of our liberal family, of our ALDE family. I will skip my introduction because you have all the necessary information in my short bio on the ALDE web pages, and I will go straight to the business. My goal is to create a better communication within the ANO family, within the ALDE family. Sometimes we feel disconnections between what's happening in Brussels and what's happening in the member states, and we have to have everything together and put better communication in place. Doesn't matter if you are member states or non-member states. Doesn't matter if you are MEP or MP in your own country, or if you're just a member of that party and supporting the values and the liberal values we're having. Each voice has to be heard, and we have to take into account that all of us coming from different parts of Europe, but we're still one family. We have some differences, we have different opinions on many things, but that's why we have to communicate better and we have to tackle those issues together. I am also the board member of ANO movement, so I know how important it is to listen each one, to talk to each other, to have better communication, to tackle all the issues, all the challenges together and not just by ourselves. I'm not afraid of getting my hands dirty of hard work for promoting the liberal values, because it's a hard job. It's hard work, especially these days when the world is changing so fast. We know what's happening in Europe, we know what's happening on European soil, so it's getting harder and harder, but we have to promote it, and we have to have someone who is working so hard to promote our values. I'm not using the word fighting for values, because I think that fighting is for the battleground. We should communicate, we should be passionate, we should listen, because I used to fight. I was former Thai boxing, and I'm still playing rugby league, so I having my battles on the field, but that's not that battle. This should be about cooperation, about understanding each other, and if we understand each other, we can be only stronger together. I'm also not naive. I'm a politician. I'm a 5 years member of parliament in the Czech Republic, and I know the game. I know the circumstances of this Congress, and I know my cards in my hands I'm having right now. I may lose this one, and I know about it, but I'm still here. I'm still here in front of you. I'm ready for your question. I'll be here till the end, and I'm ready to serve as a vice president. I'm ready to serve for you all. I'm ready to be here for the ALDE, and I'm ready to be here supporting all of us to win the elections next year. Yes, and that's it.
Thank you very much, Jaroslav. Then Eva, the floor is yours. Do you want the video first?
Yes, please.
Can we start the video, please?
If there is anything that ALDE needs, it's power. And power comes with people. And Eva Kjer Hansen is one of those people. Experienced beyond imagination, from the European Parliament, from the Danish Parliament, from ministries, and from knowing what goes on among people. And not only experience, but also savoir-faire, friendliness, and a hands-on approach to getting things done. Eva, she comes with my warmest recommendation.
gentlemen, thank you so much for all the good talks we have had throughout the latest days and the latest weeks. That has given me a lot of inspiration, and I really believe that we have the potential to grow bigger. As liberals, we want to have the power to develop Europe in the right direction. We need a sustainable Europe, we need a strong Europe, we need a liberal Europe. And therefore, we have to stick together. We need a close cooperation among us in ALDE, and ALDE is the organization which covers all the liberal parties across Europe. We are the core of the liberal parties, and we have to develop together and have a strong connection also with the group of liberals in the European Parliament. But we have to make sure that we are two different institutions, two different organizations with different aims. As I'm not running for any parliamentarian elections, I'm gonna use my knowledge, my experience, all my energy on how we can improve the organization ALDE, how we can strengthen our work together. And in the Bureau, I'm gonna give priority to building a stronger political platform so that ALDE will be the leading in developing European politics. I will also focus on communication and initiatives creating awareness about liberal among our citizens. I would also like to strengthen the relations between our member parties and improve ALDE as the meeting point for liberals, where we can have our discussions and reflections and exchange our points of views, getting new ideas, develop our identity. And then we also have to make sure that we create the platform for the younger generation, that LIMEC has an important role to say in our discussions about what is the future of Europe. There are so many crises going on right now. There are so many challenges which we have to respond to. The war in Ukraine, climate changes, the lack of rule of law. There are so many challenges where we as liberals have to take the responsibility to come up with solutions. And in a way, it's also our challenge, because I know that we are able to respond to those crises, and it gives us the opportunity to be even stronger and be those one would look at, because we have answers to all those difficult questions. And therefore, we have to establish a togetherness, become a strong voice, and it will be an honor for me to serve you in the Bureau. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eva. And then last but not least, of course, Jouni.
Thank you. Well, before I start, now I have this podium, I have something serious to say, because it concerns what happened in Liverpool. I just want to say, cha, 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 cha. But that's all about Eurovision, because your votes will be counted, not the jury. But my name is Jouni Ovaska, and I'm running for the Vice President of ALDE. And I'm running from the bottom of my heart. I'm running because we need stronger ALDE. I think we need more visible ALDE, because I have seen in Finnish politics or other countries in Europe that our colleagues, they don't even know about ALDE so much. And what is even worse, they don't even care. And that's why we need a party which is more visible, which offers tools, education, training, academies. We have academies for women, academies for young people to come to part of ALDE family. And most of all, we need a strong party with strong leadership and clear vision, because the European elections is next year and we have to be ready. Dear liberal friends, my party Keskusta has led Finland for decades. Despite the geopolitical position, we have managed to create a safe and the happiest country in the world. This has been possible because of our ability of my party to collaborate with both the right and the left building bridges. With this in mind, I am offering myself to serve the ALDE party. I have been an active member of ALDE family for a long time. I'm a member of the parliament, vice chairman of our parliamentary group, former secretary general of Keskusta. With this background, I will serve you. But dear friends, I want to address you about peace, prosperity and progress, because the peace is broken in our Europe. We will support Ukraine as long as it takes and secure a just peace. Europe needs stronger defense capabilities, and Finland, as a new member of NATO, thank you for that. We really need to, NATO's deterrence and defense must be strengthened. But the war is not only fought with weapons, it is fought inside our minds. The biggest threat is the polarization inside the societies. It has become commonplace to declare with whom one doesn't want to work. It is easier to stay in like-minded bubble. But hey, I'm also a teacher, and we have taught to our kids to respect each other. But have we forgotten it? Society is not constructed by building walls around us, but building bridges to reach each other's. And that's why, my liberal friends, we need a strong ALDE. I believe in justice, rule of law, and equal rights. Prosperity and justice can be found in society that serves the individual. But my friends, ALDE represents all the colors of the rainbow. Liberal values, equality, human rights are the cornerstones of our policies. These are our tools to strengthen peace, gain prosperity, and achieve progress. My message to you, liberal friend, is instead of politics of fear, we need the politics of hope. This is our task, and this is our time.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jouni. We have a bit of time for some questions. I see people are already lining up. For those of you who arrived a bit late, if you do want to ask a question, please get behind the microphones, and please say on behalf of which party you're asking the question, but also, if it's not to all of the candidates, which particular candidate. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I'm asking for the FDP, but not for the FDP, but for myself, to be honest. A question to all candidates about an issue which none has mentioned here. Are you in favor to protect the individual membership? Are you willing to reject the Bureau's statute changes? And are you willing to vote for the amendments?
That's three questions already. Hold on. Make sure they can keep track.
It's all the same. How will you make sure that we have individual membership within ALDE in the future? How will you do that? Thank you very much.
Well, let's run past them. Shall we start at the end with Jaroslav? Then let's see if we can keep it quick.
Hello, Rudolf Rentschler from the German FDP, Rudi for short. What is?
Rudi, I'm going to get answers to this question first.
I'm sorry.
I'm going with Jaroslav, yeah.
I'll be very fast. We have to deal with the constitution what we're having. I think that every member is a valuable member, so we have to work for everyone is in place. I was talking about the better communication. We have to do all the best to work with you, with all individual members, but we have to work in, as the constitution is giving us the right to do with it. I'll do my best to have, as I mentioned, every voice has to be heard.
Eva.
I think we have to look at different models on how we get everyone who wants to be a part of the family, get them involved. That might be as friends of ALDE or whatsoever, but we have to look into it and make sure that individuals who really want to pay attention to liberal politics, that we include them.
Thanks, Dan.
Having room for all those who want to be part of the ALDE family is a principle and a value I do trust and I do believe. The way this aim is reached, it's a matter of our common intelligence and our decisions. And we are on this path, and I do believe that a mechanism which allows the individual members to be part of the ALDE in a specific organization, in a specific organizations, it is a one decision now, we'll support it. and also in the future we can fix it. I mean, it's a matter of fluidity we can work with.
Jouni?
Yeah, we have room for individual members and we have to support them, but the more important issue is the parties which coming from non-EU countries, and that's the task we need to in the Bureau to work with, how to help and support those parties to work in ALDE.
Malik?
Yeah, I think the ALDE family needs to be a very inclusive family, and that means also strengthen, and I hope in the future also to increase this family. And each member, if you are individual member or a member of a delegation, is my dear, and it means also that, well, I expect that the individual member now will also organize stronger and to be united. And for me, also with votings, for example, the right of minorities. We are living in a democracy and we are, as liberal, defending those democracy. And for me is the voice of minorities, for example, also very important. That you are not forced as a majority, for example, and this neglecting the voice of individual members. This for me is an inclusive ALDE family.
Thank you very much. So considering we have only 3 more members and we still have 3 questions lined up, I'm going to close the microphones. I see the FDP is out in full force today. Rudy.
Yes, Rudy. In the same direction, I am an individual member since 12 years, big achievement, and now we shall be killed tomorrow. And the answers have not been clear. Are you ready not to vote our killing? If you kill us, that diminishes the members, that goes not up, and the procedure was very bad, from the top to the down. A lot of Congress delegates even don't know the subject. It was from the top to the down. Can you make sure that this never happens again?
Thank you, Rudy. I'm not going to ask you to answer again. I'm just going to take the next question, but if you want to, of course, hook up onto this debate, which is a bit more of a council debate, then we will take it from there. D66.
Thank you very much, everybody, for stepping forward and wanting to take responsibility. When I look at your resumes, then you already have quite heavy jobs, and this takes time. So a specific question, can you give one concrete action, what you will do when you're on the Bureau in favor for us as member parties?
I'm going to start at the other end. Malik.
Well, in favor of member parties, it's about, I think, traveling to the different member states and also non-EU member states to hear from the member parties their vision, their remarks about our ALDE political family. So you are also an ambassador on the ALDE party towards the member parties. This is also my third priority, what I mentioned. Dus that means for me, and I know I have a busy job, of course, but it's also more traveling. But I see there also my role as, for example, as first vice president of Renew Europe, also benefiting from more traveling to the member states to hear and listen from the member parties how we need to strengthen each other and to make this family stronger and prouder. Thank you.
Thank you. Jouni.
Yes, actually I have time because we are going to opposition now and there is time to do. And actually, like I said, I'm running from the bottom of my heart because someone said that you should step down and maybe next year, but no, I'm running now. And my task is to make better cooperation between the member parties and also the member parties and the parliamentary groups. I will visit them, I will meet them and hear what kind of thoughts they have about ALDE and what they want to hear and what they want ALDE to do and how can ALDE can help our member parties.
Thanks. Dan.
As I said in my resume, all of us, all ALDE party members, have individual great experience, good success stories, some really specific, fabulous thing. My idea, if I will get your support, is to collect all this individual experience of us as a party and use it as an instrument for 2024 elections. That is our objective, to be performant in the next elections. Thank you.
Eva.
I'm going to propose that one of our main issues will be enlargement. I think that's really an issue which will unite us, and thereby we can also take the lead in helping Ukraine on their path. I really believe enlargement is one of the core issues for us as liberals.
Jaroslav.
I'll be always honest with you. I'll be always honest with you, and I'll be listening, and I'll be supporting each of you. That's the point. I'll be always listening to you.
Thank you. So the last question goes to Manfred, and we got to keep it very short.
Well, thank you, Anneli.
Did you just call me Anneli?
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anne.
You can do it, my friend.
The question is, you all were advocating a stronger ALDE. That's about vision, and I would like to know from each other, what would your first priority step to make ALDE stronger? So, to say it only, this is lip service, but I want to see actions.
Then we're going to go very concretely, we're going to go to the middle. Dan.
Okay, so the idea of being part of ALDE should be more than just paying a fee and enjoying the Congress twice a year and the Council same. The idea is to have the feeling that you got something from the ALDE platform, from the ALDE family. So this is connected with what I already mentioned. If we collect our experience and we share and we feel, we know, okay, this good thing for our campaign is coming from the colleagues from Estonia or from Netherlands or from Malta or from Spain, the feeling of being part of the family is the thing I want to work on as a strategy.
Eva.
It's about identity. I think we have to strengthen our identity as liberal and find the fewer issues which unite us and makes us very strong, so that the voters, both in our home countries and when we talk about election for the European Parliament, people know we are those who have the solutions on some of the difficult challenges we face.
Jaroslav.
It's always like what's united us, making us stronger. So again, I reiterate again, we have to listen to each other, we have to understand our differences, we have to understand our opinion, and we have to deal with it together. We can't be sticked on something what's dividing us. We have to tackle those issues, those challenges, what united us, and that's how we make us stronger.
Right. Malik.
Yeah, thank you very much. And the other element what I want to give is that I think we need to be more prepared. And it means also, and that was also the question before on behalf of D66, that means that you need to reach out to all the member parties. That you need to know, as a representative of the ALDE Bureau, how member parties are thinking on several subjects, so that you are prepared and you can make propositions for the congresses and for the councils. Thus that we don't spend our time only for huge debates on procedural aspects, for example, but that we are more debating also on the content, and that we find each other there with compromises, and that in the end we are united outside. So we need to strengthen this family all outside, and that it will be a very fun and pleasure, and I know for certain that will be also now during this Congress in Stockholm here as an ALDE family. We need to be proud on each other, and that will be my contribution. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Jouni?
I think the first question is to ask ourselves that, do we believe this project? Why are we member of ALDE? What's the difference between EPP, ALDE, or the socialists? And I think, because we are all running to the ALDE vice presidents, we know there is a renewed Europe, there is different powers in the European Parliament and all over Europe, but we want to make this party stronger. We want to serve the party, and if the party wants to be strong, that means that every member, even if an individual member or member of some our national parties, you have to have self-confidence. Self-confidence to trust and work for this party.
Thank you very much. So that was it for the presentation of the candidates. Of course, the voting will start today at 11 in room 25. The electronic booths open, but it doesn't close until Sunday at 10:30. So please take the time to meet the candidates, to talk to them, to continue the questioning. I'm sure they would be delighted to meet you all. And let's give them a warm round of applause.
Good job.